A director that time and time again manages to one-up himself and how magical his movies can be. Back of his ball sack, double down. He ate tuna. What do I look like, a film reviewer? He spent so much time just yapping. I recommend skipping this one. I am here. Now, this movie also has the most badass title card I've ever seen in a film as it fucking explodes its way on screen. Felt like I was watching Xavier of Renegade Angel.
No! Don't cut off my ears!
Ah! Oh no!
Fuck, the greatest beatdown in all cinema. I really like this movie. Breenius, if you will. Well, after being on this Neil Breen journey for almost a year, I've gotten to the third and best Neil Breen film, Fateful Findings. Why is this one the best? Funny. That's the reason. It's really funny. So funny, in fact, I had some friends over so I could get some genuine reactions of this masterpiece. But why is this movie really funny? Well, you're gonna have to watch the video because I have no idea how to introduce a movie with this in it.
Goodbye.
Wow, there really is surround sound.
Shut the fuck up.
Why is it in such low quality?
Shut the fuck up.
We begin our cinematic experience with time-lapse stock footage of a building, and because it's a Neil Breen movie, there's stock music accompanying it too, with it cutting to an old book in a shelf storage facility for some reason, and they're sprinkling glitter on it. And now we see more stock footage with the cast being listed, so that whole song and dance with the book was meaningless, I guess. And now we see two stupid kids running in a field.
The dumbest child actors are symbolism for stupid.
With this movie turning into a scary movie because the goat skull follows them as they walk by. And to further add to the scariness, there's spooky sounds playing as these kids are walking through the woods. But the spooky sounds go away with it being replaced by magical music. And these kids found a magical mushroom that's so magical, there's treasure in it, with a magic rock. And this moment is so magical that the girl had to write it down in her journal that it's a magical day.
It's a magical day.
You can hear the wind.
You know what? It's a magical day.
But now the girl's parents are moving away, so the boy has his final goodbyes, and I'm sorry, what the fuck is this scene? Apparently her parents are totally cool for her hanging outside the car, in the waves. Why are they waving like that?
I don't like that. That gives me very bad vibes.
The scene gets even weirder as it ends with the boy going, "Ah, shucks," when she's gone. And aw yeah, we see the god himself, Neil Breen in the flesh, with him being the boy we just saw. And for the poutiest narration that I've ever heard,
I never heard from her again.
Wait.
with it cutting to him on the phone with his wife. However, this is probably the weirdest phone conversation I've ever heard in a movie, and it's for the simple fact that Neil Breen just doesn't talk. And it gets even weirder when you consider the fact that his wife is talking. So my only explanation for this is that he literally forgot to record whatever dialogue he wrote for this scene. So that's how you can tell we're watching true high art. Oh, and you want even more evidence that this is high art? Just watch this scene. Fucking incredible. So as you literally just saw, Neil Breen got hit by a car and got seriously injured, and we get this awkward as hell scene where there's a bunch of witnesses surrounding Neil Breen talking about how terrible this all is, with this being interlaced with his wife worrying about him not responding. But don't worry though, as Neil Breen kept that magic rock from his childhood with him his entire life, and when he's in the carpeted hospital, that's 100% his house.
He's in critical condition.
The magic rock revives him. Also, can we appreciate the fact that Neil Breen is such a superior brain to all of us? Because he's able to have his air filtered through his bandages with that thing that's supposed to be in your nose over his bandages. So with Neil Breen being revived, he just leaves.
Wait for it. Yes, that's his balls, you idiot.
Also, right after he leaves the hospital, we see a pair of feet mysteriously appear and then disappear. What does this mean and why is it there? I don't know. So he gets home and takes a shower, with his wife hearing this and joining him in one of the greatest romance scenes I've ever seen in my life.
What the
Yeah, exactly. Oh my god, Neil balls.
And I guess everyone's cool with the fact that Neil Breen is completely fine as he goes back to writing his book. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention Neil Breen is a best-selling author in this movie. I have no idea what he writes about, and these nondescript books that he has in his office aren't helping, but whatever it is, it must be really good. Probably very philosophical. And while he's working, we get the first of multiple instances of laptop abuse in this movie, as Neil Breen gets a headache because I guess that magic rock didn't heal him completely. Now we see Neil Breen's friend, Jim, who's just a comically shitty person who's an alcoholic and a sex addict, and he gets into fights all the time with his wife.
You need to
I don't want to have
establish
sex
that.
with you because I'm busy, and also my back hurts, and also the pain.
And these fights make his daughter all sad. And then boom, we cut back to Neil Breen who has to take meds.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, this part.
I don't know you these. It's to convey anxiety, you fuckhead. What the fuck is the point of putting the pills in the toilet if you're not gonna flush them?
Oh, this
Neil
fucking
Breen
part.
does not flush.
This fucking
They'll
part.
dissolve eventually. Ew!
Neil Breen is not a flusher.
So you thought that was pretty wild? Well, it gets even more batshit because the magic rock does some paranormal activity shit, which makes Neil Breen hallucinate himself in a room made out of garbage bags, where he's naked and literally nothing happens. This makes Neil Breen go see his therapist. And for whatever reason, the office is set up like Vladimir Putin's meeting room, with there being a really long table. And I also find it hilarious that he uses a shot where it pans across the table to his therapist, but it never quite makes it to the therapist. The therapist tells Neil Breen some shit about his next book, and Neil Breen ends the conversation by saying,
I'm feeling less stable.
Go gadget Neil Breen vibrator.
now he's on the phone with his publisher, with him then going in for the coffee. But uh-oh, he gets another headache, so everything gets all dramatic as he tries to drink the coffee in the most irresponsible way possible.
How come these computers are
You
never...
feel bad, boy. Alright, we're all good. He's not gonna spill coffee.
Joseph,
You bastard!
where his like body got hit.
Yes.
Why does he keep moaning?
Stop moaning, Neil.
I made the joke about the vibrator. I didn't realize it was real.
Now we cut back to Jim, who's in the garage, and this scene is basically just here to show how much of a piece of shit Jim is. Also, it sort of implies that he has feelings for his Ferrari,
You care more about that car than me.
although I guess Jim's wife isn't that bothered by her neglectful husband who wants to fuck his car, because she immediately and happily accepts an invitation from Neil Breen's wife to have dinner. So they have dinner and we get some truly Oscar tier acting.
I'm hungry. I can't wait for dinner.
Now we're back to Neil Breen's office, where something vaguely resembling a plot begins to form as Neil Breen tells himself he's hacking the government to uncover corruption.
I'm going to hacking into these government systems to see what I can find out.
Who is he talking to?
Himself.
Wait, where did that come from? Why is he hacking in?
The Rock told him to.
What does this corruption look like? Why are government systems so insecure that some random author can hack into them with a Sony Vio laptop from the year 2000? Why are you looking at me? Does it look like I have an answer? And now we're back in Jim's house for some reason and... Oh no. Jim's wife isn't wearing a bra. God damn it, Neil. You know, we're 30 minutes in. We're 30 minutes in. I thought you could go without showing a woman topless. But nope. You just had to do it at some point. You just had to do... Fuck you, Neil. Well, sorry for that. Anyway, back to the movie. So Jim wants to reconcile with his wife. She just ignores him, and the scene is really boring, so we made jokes about how yellow everything looked on my TV.
All his liver failure is going to his wife from all that drinking.
She's the color of a nice Donald Trump.
She'd make an excellent Lego minifigure.
Oh, hell no. My wife doesn't talk to me because I drink all day and have sex with my car.
Now Neil Breen and his wife are fighting over her taking too much pain relief pills. We also learn that Neil Breen is an awful husband as he straight up ignores everything his wife says.
My job sucks. I hate the people I work with.
It's going to change.
I am hacking into the government, and I'm going to expose the corruption and lies.
It's to a point where I think Jim is a better husband. And then the conversation moves to the office for literally no reason, and we get a romantic scene where Neil Breen abuses his laptop some more, and he and his wife start ripping each other's shirts, so I guess everything's all hunky-dory now. But apparently everything isn't fine, because now Neil Breen is going to another therapist, whose office is in a utility closet for some reason. Now we see Neil Breen looking in the mirror with him walking away and his reflection staying.
Oh, yeah? What does this represent?
Now we're back at Jim's house, and apparently his wife's a drug addict too, and they have another meaningless argument, and now the mystery feet are back with him being able to teleport. It doesn't mean anything though, as they just disappear again. With Neil Breen now talking to his wife again, with her accusing him of cheating for some reason, and he says no, but then he cheekily looks into the camera. He even does this twice, with him then telling his wife that he's not writing a book, and instead he's hacking the government. Now we're back in the trash bag room, and Neil Breen is looking at the old book from earlier. What does any of this mean? Who knows? After this, Neil Breen and his wife decide to have a barbecue, and for some reason he invites the doctor from the hospital he was at, and we get the sickest reveal in all of cinema. As it turns out, the doctor from the hospital is the girl from the opening. Neil Breen discovering this by seeing she dropped the notebook from earlier, with this being the exact same notebook with the exact same "It's a magical day" message. And I guess that day was so magical she felt the need to bring this book everywhere she went, and Neil Breen gets all excited, with him immediately starting to sound like a sex offender.
I think of you every day. I think of you every day.
With her very clearly looking uncomfortable with this. But the script said she had to smile, so she's smiling. And they immediately get romantic like 5 seconds after reuniting. And when I say romantic, I mean it. They straight up start holding hands at the barbecue, even though Neil Breen's wife is there and can clearly see it. So yeah, the supreme moral authority on earth, Neil Breen, says it's totally cool for you to cheat on your wife and fiance in front of them as long as they're drug addicts. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention the girl from Neil Breen's childhood has a fiance, and he's genuinely the worst actor in this movie, and that's saying a lot.
Here's to new and old friends.
Okay, worst actor.
So the barbecue is over, and for whatever reason, Jim's daughter decides to go over to Neil Breen's house uninvited to go swimming in his pool. Although as someone who somewhat frequently goes swimming in the summer, this isn't really swimming. It's more splashing around like a toddler, and that's not even the weirdest part. As she takes her bra off for literally no reason, and looks at Neil Breen and says his name all flirtatiously, which, I'm sorry, is Neil Breen the fucking pussy destroyer in this movie? Because holy shit, every woman in this movie is attracted to him. And apparently trespassing in your dad's pool wasn't enough, as now she has to go inside and take a bath for whatever reason. She strips down and Neil Breen sees her and is absolutely flabbergasted. He tells her to stop and go home, and she responds with this.
She literally spikes the fucking camera. You can't do this. Bugs bunny ass look. Like, get a load of this.
I was just like, ain't I a stinker?
Shit, you're right. Maybe I shouldn't have sex with a 56-year-old man.
So now we're back at Jim's house, and he starts fighting with his wife for no reason for the 50 billionth time. And after having the silliest fight ever, he moves into the garage. And this made his wife so pissed that she gets a gun and threatens to
Shoot this damn car out full of holes.
What? No. Please tell me it blows up. Did he take a bullet from the car?
Yes.
Amy!
Is that the first name drop we get?
You
Yeah.
killed him.
The fact that Jim's daughter didn't get an Oscar for this movie is fucking disgusting. So if you couldn't tell, Jim died and Neil Breen, who's outside their house for some reason, gets inside and Jim's wife tells Neil Breen that Jim killed himself. With this, we get genuinely one of the most legendary moments in any Neil Breen movie.
I can't believe you committed suicide. I cannot believe you committed suicide. How could you have done this? How could you have committed suicide?
You know, there's a few movies that truly make me cry, but this moment right here, you can't top it. Bravo, Neil Breen. And the best part of all this is that he says,
I can't help you out of this one, Jim.
yeah, that's what I'd say to my best friend who's just fucking killed himself for no fucking reason. Now, this whole Jim suicide thing has Neil Breen real confused, because in the next scene, he's in complete disbelief that Jim killed himself. This is so confusing, in fact, that he has to go to the trash bag realm again. He talks to his wife about Jim's death for a bit, and then he goes back to hacking.
Women won't have sex with me, so I'll make a world where they do.
Although he has to get angry at his publisher first because he has to abuse laptops again. And this anger brings him to the trash bag realm again. And this time, the girl from his childhood is with him for some reason. So now he's with his therapist again, and he's talking about some random bullshit that doesn't matter, and now he's 100% cheating on his wife. I'm serious. The next 7 minutes are just him going on a date with his childhood friend. Meanwhile, his actual wife is alone and depressed, taking pills. And the best part is, right when Neil Breen and his childhood friend are about to fuck, his wife fucking dies. And when he gets back, he's just pretending that he literally just didn't cheat on her. So yeah, Neil Breen is a really great and likable guy. So now Neil Breen is sad for a bit about his dead wife, but don't worry, because his childhood friend is basically his replacement wife now. He even tells her that he's hacking the government, and this starts to make him stressed out over leaking all the information he's been collecting.
No! Why the fuck would you place it there?
Me knocking stuff over is the universal sign of I want to bang.
I'm not ready for this.
This is the emotional climax of the movie.
But oh no! Someone working for the evil government has kidnapped his replacement wife in the most dramatic kidnapping scene ever. Also, very conveniently, the kidnapper had a card with the address he was supposed to take her on it. Also conveniently, he drops it as he's kidnapping Neil Breen's replacement wife. So it's now up to Neil Breen to save the day. He goes to the locker where his wife is being held, and he deals with the kidnapper like a true badass. And I guess Neil Breen's magic healing rock is also a magic teleporting rock, because it allows him to phase through the door. He saves his wife, and his house starts getting all spooky with spooky sounds and spooky things happening. Neil Breen notices this, so decides to leave in the middle of the night. At least he had the courtesy to tell his replacement wife that he'd be gone for the day, something he didn't tell his first wife. So he goes into the desert and stands in front of the old book, which is there for some reason. Then some mysterious shadow figures appear and then immediately disappear. Then a bunch of random bullshit happens. The second therapist disappears, then we see the mysterious feet and they start bleeding and also disappear. And then Neil Breen and his replacement wife wake up and Neil Breen gives her this. And now we get the greatest fucking finale I have ever seen. Neil Breen leaks all the information he's been collecting and holds a press conference to announce it, with this being interlaced with corrupt politicians and businessmen resigning and then killing themselves. And the way they kill themselves is so fucking goofy. Just look at how the senator fucking hangs himself. My favorite though is this guy, the president of the bank. Not any specific bank, just the bank.
I resign today as president of the bank.
Wait, is that just the
President of the bank!
This shit is honestly what makes this movie worth it in my book. It's just so goddamn incredible. And to make it more thrilling, Neil Breen threw in crosshair filters to make it seem like someone is about to assassinate him, but the assassin gets Thomas Matthew Crooks before he's able to shoot Neil Breen, and Neil Breen just treats it like it's nothing. Also, I love the fact that he gets a standing ovation every 2 sentences because he's just that goddamn brilliant. And after this, our film ends with Neil Breen walking into the woods with his replacement wife. What an amazing ending to an amazing piece of art. Well, that took an embarrassing amount of time to review, especially considering this movie is about as deep as a puddle, but whatever. This movie is absolutely bonkers, and it's something that I think anyone who's remotely interested in bad movies should check out. This is easily the best Neil Breen movie by a long shot, and will probably always be the best Neil Breen movie, because you can never top this. Or this. Or this. Well, that's all I have to say on this masterpiece. I'm gonna go take a nap or something, so bye-bye.